Hello, welcome to a new episode with me, your host, MarkAGunnels, here with lineups. I'm here to talk some NFL. It was a crazy offseason, a lot of big time moves that happened, but I'm going to rank the top five most impactful NFL offseason moves from 5 to 1 right now. So I'm going to start at 5, and I'm starting with Dexter Lawrence to the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, Eddie, your boy from the Giants. Got a great pick for him. Got a number 10 pick overall in this past draft. The Bengals went all in on Dexter Lawrence, sexy Dexy, or whatever they call that, man. He's a big guy. And this past season was not that good stat-wise. You just look at the stats with your eyes, right? He only had a half a sack this past season. The year before that, though, he had 9 sacks, and that was only in 12 games. So the Bengals are banking on him returning back to that 2024 form. He's only 28 years old, so he's right in the smack dab of his prime. And I think that pick was a lot. The number 10 overall pick for Dexter Lawrence, especially after this season he just had, was a lot. It was a lot. But I do understand why they took the swing, because Joe Burrow has been very outspoken about wanting to win, and he's kind of been calling out the front office subliminally about being more aggressive and things of that nature. So you don't want to risk this guy demanding a trade or wanting out, because you've missed the playoffs the last 3 years. That is something that Joe Burrow is not accustomed to. This guy is a winner. He won a national championship at LSU. He took the Bengals to the Super Bowl, took them to another AFC championship game. This guy is about winning, and he's not getting younger, right? Like, you can't take these years for granted, especially with the injury history he has. You never know what could happen. The future is untold. So while I think giving up that high of a pick was a lot, I get why they did it, because they have to show Joe Burrow that they're serious about winning. Because the offense is never the issue in Cincinnati. They're going to put up video game numbers every year with Joe Burrow at quarterback, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They have a plethora of weapons on that side of the ball. It's the defense that has to hold up their end. And you don't even got to be great. They just need at least a middle of the pack defense, and they should be a playoff team. You added Dexter Lawrence. You added Jonathan Allen. I know he's older now, but a nice veteran in that to add to that D-line room. You added Boy Mafe from Seattle. For this past season, he only had 2 sacks, but the year before that, he got 6, and the year before that, he had 9. So you're hoping you get some of that juice there. Your former first-round pick, Miles Murphy, in year 3 last year, had 5.5 sacks, which is a career high for him. You hope that he can continue to grow and get that number closer to double digits. Because you lost Trey Hendrickson, right? You weren't willing to pay him that bag, and I agree with that. He's a little older, had some injury stuff going on. You invested more in a younger guy, Dexter Lawrence, and you're trying to beef up not only your pass rush, but your run defense as well. So you beefed up the middle of your D-line. So I understand it from that perspective. And I think this move will pay off. I think adding him with the other additions you made, this should be a middle of the pack defense at the very least. And with that being said, that gives you a chance to win your division. I mean, we're talking about the Baltimore Ravens, new head coach. We'll see. I don't know. The Steelers, Aaron Rodgers is still their quarterback in 2026. What? They're 7, 8, 9 win team at best. And the Browns are the Browns. It's a very winnable division if you're at Cincinnati. And in your mind, you bolstered your defense. You have a top 5 offense. The expectation should be to win the AFC North. At number 4, Kyler Murray to the Vikings on a minimum contract because he's still getting guaranteed money from the Cardinals. So it's not like he's going to be hurting for money. So he's getting out in the back end. And the Vikings, you had a rough year with J.J. McCarthy last year. Didn't pan out. I don't see him starting and winning the position battle over Kyler Murray. We've seen this several times with former top picks. Things don't necessarily work out in their first destination, but the second, maybe even third team, they go to a better situation and their talent finally flourishes. And you see why they were picked as high as they were. Examples, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, the list goes on and on. I think Kyler Murray could get added to that list. You go into a great situation. Kevin O'Connor, KOC, one of the best play callers in football. You have Justin Jefferson. You have Jordan Addison, Juwan Jennings, arguably the best trio of receivers in the NFL. So you have weapons, you have the play caller. There's no excuses. I think Kyler Murray has a big impact on Minnesota this year. I think they can compete for a wild card spot in the NFC. At number 3, Kenneth Walker to the Kansas City Chiefs. This one is not being talked about enough in my mind. He signed for a 3-year, $43 million contract. 28.7 of that is guaranteed. He's only 25 years old. He turns 26 in October. We're talking about a guy that was the Super Bowl MVP just about 6 months ago. Did we forget about that? And check this out. During Mahomes' very prestigious, luxurious career, he's never had a running back rush for 1,000 yards in a season, ever. He's never had it. Kenneth Walker has done it twice, including this past season, rushing for over 1,000 yards. The best running back Patrick Mahomes has ever had was his first year starting when he had Kareem Hunt. And he would have run for 1,000 yards. He ran for over 800, but he only played 11 games for the Chiefs because he got kicked off the team for his hotel incident in 2018. So Mahomes this is the best running back he's had since 2018. Let that sink in. And what do they say? A running game is the quarterback's best friend. And Mahomes has won 3 Super Bowls without having an above average, league average running back. And he's already won 3 Super Bowls. Now you give him Kenneth Walker at only 25 years old, coming off a Super Bowl MVP. And not to mention, with Mahomes coming off an ACL injury, I think especially early on, you'll see the Chiefs lean more on their running game. And why wouldn't you? You have Kenneth Walker now. But also, you want to ease Mahomes into things because he's coming off that injury. You don't want to be throwing the ball 40 plus times in September and October. Let him get into the flow of things. Let Walker eat. And that will open up a lot of things down the field for the receivers. So this move is massive. And like I said, it's not being talked about enough. At number 2, A.J. Brown to the Patriots. They gave up a first in 28, a 5th round pick in 2027. I think it's worth it. You just went to the Super Bowl. And it was obvious that the moment was too big for Drake May. But in the same breath, he didn't have nobody that could win on the outside. Seattle had those guys on clamps. Stephon Diggs actually had a pretty good year, but he's not a number one at this point in his career. He's better as a number two. So now you got A.J. Brown, a legit number one. And not to mention, this went under the radar as well. They got Romeo Doubs from the Packers, who just had 55 catches last year, over 700 yards, 6 touchdowns. So not only did you add A.J. Brown, legit number one, now you have a legit number two as well in Romeo Doubs. And with your running game, you're going to lean more on Travion Henderson from day one. If you don't remember, they were kind of stalling him out the first half of the season, but then his carries picked up in the back half. He averaged over 5 yards a carry and still almost had 1,000 yards while not being the feature back for the whole entire season. He had over 900 yards. So this offense on paper could be really, really good, especially if you would factor in the maturation of Drake May and him getting better, as he should, with that experience he had last year. Now you have a legit number one and a legit number two. So the Patriots, they shouldn't go anywhere. It's going to be them and the Bills again competing for that division in the AFC East. But number one, this is obvious. You know who it is. You know what the most impactful offseason move was. And they may actually have the number one and number two, depending on what happens here soon. And I'll get to that. But number one is Myles Garrett to the Rams. I mean, we're talking about a guy that just broke the sack record last year, 23 sacks. He's had 8 seasons of 10 or more sacks. He's the best defensive player in football. And then you add him to a Rams team that was already looked at as a legit Super Bowl contender. Now you add Myles Garrett. They're the clear favorite to win it all this next season. Obviously, things are not guaranteed. It's only one game in the playoffs, one bad day, and you're going home. It's not a series like the NBA. But on paper, they're loaded. You got the MVP at quarterback, reigning MVP in Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, good running game. You add Myles Garrett to that defensive line. And even though you got rid of Jared Verse, you still have guys that can get after the quarterback outside of Myles Garrett. Let's not forget that Byron Young had 12 sacks last year. Kobe Turner had 7 sacks last year. And the reason why I said they may have the number one and number two biggest impactful moves, because Aaron Donald may be coming out of retirement. He's back in the facility working out. And the speculation is he may be coming back as well. And if that happens, you're talking about potentially the greatest team of all time on paper. If you add Myles Garrett, Aaron Donald, don't forget, they got Trent McDuffie from the Chiefs as well, who's a top 5 corner in football. And then you have Matthew Stafford, Adams, Puka. This team, that would be unfair if Aaron Donald goes there, because I know he's been out the game for a couple years, but I watch the guy's Instagram. He's still in great shape. And I have no doubt that he'll come back and make an impact if that's what he decides to do. But yeah, Myles Garrett to the Rams is clearly the number one most impactful move in the NFL this offseason. And they may add Aaron freaking Donald. Just unreal. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Lineups with me, your host, MarkAGunnels. Until next time, take care.